You were trained to confuse validation with love and dependency with devotion. That training ends now. This is not comfort. This is correction. This is a manifesto for emotional sovereignty. 7 techniques to stop hemorrhaging power, to reclaim your voice, to stand alone without trembling. I will not speak like a therapist. I will speak like a strategist. Blunt, precise, merciless. Because anything softer keeps you obedient. Anything gentler keeps you small. And the world is built to feed on the small. From this point forward, you unlearn submission. You unlearn approval. You unlearn the habit of asking permission to exist. This is not therapy. This is rebellion. And rebellion begins with clarity. Here is your first law: starve the need, seize the throne. You think approval is affection. It isn't. Approval is a tax on your freedom, collected daily. Every smile you chase, every nod you wait for, every like you beg from the crowd. It's not connection. It's captivity. Starve the need. Feed it, and it owns you. Picture the weak. They walk into a meeting, crack a joke. Silence. Their stomach drops. For the rest of the hour, they're not thinking strategy. They're replaying that silence like a confession. That's not leadership. That's prison. They mute their instincts. They sand their edges. They trade authenticity for applause. And the applause they crave? It lasts seconds. Then comes the void, refreshing the feed, begging for another fix. That isn't validation. It's dependency in disguise. It's weakness performing as charm. Machiavelli warned, a ruler who depends on mercenaries becomes their subject. Mercenaries fight for pay, not loyalty. They vanish when war begins. External validation is no different. Strangers, followers, likes, these are your mercenaries. They march for you in sunshine, but they desert in the storm. Only a citizen army, loyal, disciplined, internal, will hold the line. Your citizen troops must be built from within. If your peace is borrowed from strangers, it will flee at the first bad day. If your confidence is rented from followers, it will vanish when they scroll away. You post a photo, 200 likes, ecstasy. Next week, half that number, and suddenly your reflection feels unworthy. That's the mercenary army abandoning its post. Build your army inside, principles, routines, self-respect. Because mercenaries flee, but citizens defend their home. Before you touch a single message, build yourself. 30 minutes for the body, 30 for the mind, 15 for the soul. That's your private army reporting for duty daily. Don't wake to the digital crowd. Wake to war drums, push-ups, a page of Marcus Aurelius. One question in your journal. What do I stand for today? Once per day, speak a raw truth. No sugar, no apology. Let silence be the applause. A friend asks for your time when you're exhausted. Don't invent excuses. Say, not tonight. I need rest. That moment, that calm defiance, is sovereignty awakening. Then, for 48 hours, fast from validation. No posting, no fishing, no refreshing. Watch the cravings rise like withdrawal. Each time you reach for your phone just to see if someone noticed you, recognize the slave inside you. That itch is proof of captivity. Stop renting your peace to mercenaries. Make it conscripted. Make it loyal. Make it yours. Because the moment you stop feeding the validation economy, you stop being its slave and start being sovereign. Once your emotions march under your command, so will people. Once your approval comes from within, the crowd will seek yours. Self-discipline isn't self-denial, it's conquest. He who governs his need for validation governs others who crave it.
Hey guys, we're Strategy, based in Abu Dhabi. We use AI tools to make these concepts come to life, but it's our amazing team who goes deep, breaking down powerful philosophical ideas and showing how they really apply in everyday life. We hope you enjoyed today's content.
This is your second law. Enter the furnace, rule the void. You think solitude is absence. It isn't. Solitude is architecture. It's the forge of power, the blueprint of your mind, the furnace where steel is made. But most people never enter it. They flinch at the door like beggars afraid of silence. Enter the furnace. You call silence lonely because it doesn't clap. You drown yourself in group chats, background noise, and endless scrolling because quiet forces you to meet the one person you've avoided most, yourself. That's why the moment the room goes silent, you reach for a screen. You're not bored. You're running. The weak flee solitude like it's punishment. They'd rather be distracted than disciplined, rather entertained than enlightened. They confuse noise for life and stillness for death, then wonder why their minds decay. Machiavelli warned that rulers who hide in fortresses lose their people and invite defeat. Real security comes from ordering your state so the public stands with you. Your social fortress is the same: constant company, constant distraction. It looks safe, it feels warm, but it breeds fragility. The second the fortress door closes and you're left alone, panic sets in. Trade the fortress of noise for the discipline that earns loyalty from yourself. Think about it. You spend the day sprinting from notification to notification, and at night you lie in bed, exhausted but wide awake. Because the fortress kept you busy, never honest. Here's how you change it. Each day, take a dark hour. Phone in another room, just pen, paper, silence. At first, it will sting like withdrawal. Good. That's the poison leaving your system. Once a week, give yourself a solitude sprint. One evening with no meetings, no media, no crowd. Walk alone. Think. Decide. The clarity that surfaces will scare you, because it's been waiting for years. Then run the 3-question scan. What am I avoiding? What am I numbing? What am I postponing? Write one answer. Act on one answer. That's how solitude becomes a forge. Stop hiding in company. Enter the furnace. Come out forged. Because solitude isn't withdrawal, it's ascension. Those who master it command clarity, and clarity commands empires. He who can stand alone can stand above. He who conquers his silence conquers the crowd. Here is your third law: hold the line, command respect. Compromise without reciprocity is not love, it's erosion. Every time you shrink yourself to keep someone close, you trade respect for proximity, and the trade is always loss. Hold the line. You soften your opinions. You dilute your ambition. You apologize for your edges. Then wonder why respect evaporates. You say yes to dinner when you're exhausted. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You nod along to stay easy. That's not kindness. That's slow self-erasure. That's cowardice wearing a smile. Machiavelli warned, a ruler must avoid contempt and hatred by governing clearly, rewarding loyalty, punishing betrayal. Ambiguity invites predators, and weakness, when disguised as empathy, breeds them. Boundaries are not moods, they're policy, and policy, when unclear, always collapses. People can only treat you as clearly as you define yourself. Soft edges invite hard uses. If you don't set terms, the world will set them for you and charge you rent to live by them. Here's how you reclaim the line. Write your non-negotiables. 3 standards for your time, 3 for communication, 3 for intimacy. Publish them once, enforce them always. Example: time. You don't reply to work messages after 8 p.m. Ever. That's law, not suggestion. Next, adopt the 2-strike rule. You repeat a boundary once. The second time you act, there is no third speech. Example: a friend keeps interrupting when you speak. First time you call it out. Second time you cut the conversation short. That silence is policy. And finally, run the price of admission test. If staying costs your voice, your ambition, or your self-respect, the price is treason. Walk away. If you won't defend your borders, don't cry when they're crossed. Respect isn't begged for, it's enforced. Because sovereignty starts with self-definition. When you enforce your standards, the world adjusts its tone. When you draw clear borders, power flows inward, then outward. He who commands respect within, commands obedience without. He who guards his own walls soon governs others. Here is your fourth law. Cut clean, command the field. Clarity is faster than charm and far more lethal. Charm buys you minutes. Clarity saves you years. When you hesitate, you bleed. When you decide, you cut clean. Cut clean. But most don't. They linger, they plead, they stall. They call it patience, but it's cowardice wearing perfume. They wait for proof that will never come, wasting months in the name of hope. Waiting is rarely wisdom. Most times, waiting is fear dressed as virtue. Think about it. You keep answering texts from someone who only reaches out when they're bored. 3 weeks of excuses and you still hope next week they'll mean it. Or you sit in a job you despise, whispering that the next quarter, the next boss, the next miracle will redeem the years already burned. You orbit indecision like a dying satellite, decaying but afraid to fall. That's not patience. That's slow-motion self-betrayal. Machiavelli admired Cesare Borgia for one thing above all: cold clarity. Borgia delegated cruelty to an enforcer. The people feared him. Then, when resentment swelled, Borgia executed that enforcer publicly. Order restored overnight. It was ruthless, yes, but it worked. Because decisive moves end chaos, half measures multiply it. A ruler who hesitates becomes ruled. And you're no different. When you won't decide, the world decides for you. When you won't close the door, someone else walks through it. When you won't say enough, you're condemned to live on leftovers. Attention, respect, opportunity. Stop negotiating with situations that already told you the truth. If someone ignores your boundaries 3 times, you don't need another 3 months. If a client keeps delaying payments, you don't need another reminder. If a friend only calls when they need something, you don't need to see how it goes. Act. First, binary decisions. If a relationship drains you 3 weeks straight, decide within 24 hours. End it or formalize terms. Example, I can't continue without mutual effort. If that's not possible, I'm done. Not a threat, not a plea, a verdict. Second, write the cut. One message, short, sharp, final. This isn't working, I'm moving on. Not 6 paragraphs, not courtroom evidence. A clean incision leaves no scar to pick at. Third, close the loop. Don't leave emptiness, fill it deliberately. End a relationship. Replace the hours with training, reading, rebuilding. Cut a business tie. Pour the energy into your next client, your own creation, your empire. Quit a draining habit. Replace the craving with a ritual that builds muscle, mind, or money. Because indecision isn't neutral, it leaks. Every maybe later drains your focus, your energy, your power. And desperation grows in leaks. A clean no saves more of your life than 1,000 maybe laters. Decisiveness isn't cruelty. Decisiveness is mercy. Mercy to yourself and to everyone who deserves the clarity you've been withholding. Because the one who cuts clean commands. He who decides first dictates terms. He who ends without apology rules without contest. Decisiveness doesn't just save time, it seizes the throne. Here is your 5th law. Choose your side, Oregon be erased. Fence sitting feels safe, but safety is an illusion. When the storm comes, both sides look at the man on the fence and say the same thing. Useless. Commit or be crushed. You keep your relationships, your goals, your values in draft mode. You call it open-mindedness. But it reads as unreliability. It smells like weakness. It tells the world you stand for nothing, and nothing stands for you. Think about it. You tell a friend, let me know, maybe I'll come. They don't invite you next time. You tell your boss, I'll think about the project. They hand it to someone hungrier. You tell yourself, I'll start the gym soon. Months vanish, and so does your reflection of respect. Draft mode doesn't protect you, it deletes you. Machiavelli warned that rulers earn respect by being true friends or true enemies. To declare for one side fully is better than pretending neutrality. Winners distrust half-allies. Losers despise fair-weather friends. And history buries those who tried to balance on the fence while empires chose their flags. Life is the same battlefield. You're judged by what you protect when pressure hits. If you won't defend your own values, your time, your standards, others will seize them. So choose your side. First, pick your hill. One mission, 90 days, tie your calendar to it. Example, I'm building my side business. That means 3 nights a week, every Saturday morning, you go to that hill. Everything else gets a no. No debate, no guilt. Second, choose your circle. 5 people who reinforce your standard. Everyone else gets distance. Example, if you're done drinking, step back from the Friday night crew. Call the friend who's running at 6 a.m. That's your side. Third, commit visibly. Don't whisper loyalty, demonstrate it. Deliver something every week that shows where your allegiance lies. One post, one design, one client, one act of proof. Small wins, public evidence. Because neutrality is cowardice in costume. It looks polite, it feels safe. But it screams, I belong to no one, not even myself. If you won't choose, the world will choose, for itself, not for you. Because commitment is gravity. Once you plant your flag, the world orbits around it. Those who decide with force pull power toward them. Those who hesitate drift into oblivion. He who chooses his side commands his fate. He who declares his colors commands the battlefield. Here is your 6th law. Drill the state, rule the storm. Skill is sovereignty. Aesthetics are accidents. Looking strong is decoration. Being strong is defense. Drill the state, but most don't. They perform progress. They live for the illusion of improvement, not the grind of it. They post gym selfies after 2 workouts, then vanish when soreness arrives. They highlight quotes from books they never finished, just to look intellectual online. They preach ambition at parties, but wake up scrolling through strangers' lives. That's not strength, that's theater. And theater collapses the moment life throws a stone. One insult and they spiral. One breakup and their whole kingdom shakes. Why? Because their army is mercenaries, borrowed image, not built muscle. Machiavelli warned against mercenaries and auxiliaries. They fight for pay, not loyalty. They vanish when the real war begins. Only a citizen army, trained, tested, owned, can defend a state. Your life is no different. If your strength depends on followers, trainers, or hype, you'll collapse the moment they're gone. Quiet reps, repeated daily, are the troops that hold the wall when chaos attacks. So train in private. For the body, 4 sessions a week. Compound lifts, push-ups, pull-ups. Movements that build real utility. Example, when a friend needs help moving furniture, can you lift? Or do you just pose? That's the difference between a soldier and a performer. For the mind, 1 dense book at a time. No skimming, no scatter. Summarize each chapter in 5 bullets. Example, read Marcus Aurelius, note 5 lines, then apply 1. Refuse to complain for a day. That's citizen training for the mind. For your craft, 90 minutes of deep work daily, not endless hours pretending to be busy. Track what you produced, not how long you sat. If you're a writer, count finished pages, not time spent thinking. If you're an entrepreneur, count deals closed, not plans discussed. When your state is trained, storms become drills. A breakup won't break you. It will test the walls you've built in silence. An insult won't shake you. It will bounce off the armor you forged in solitude. Because real strength isn't the photo, it's the fortress behind it, the unseen repetitions, the private discipline, the invisible army that never deserts. And when that army obeys, so will the world. When you drill your body, mind, and craft into unbreakable order, the chaos of others bends around you. He who governs himself commands the battlefield. He who drills his state rules the storm. Here is your seventh law. Engineer fortune, command fate. Luck favors the ruler whose house is in order. Fortune doesn't smile randomly. It bends towards the prepared. Engineer your odds, but most don't. They worship chance like peasants praying for rain. They call failure bad luck instead of bad planning. They plead with the universe while ignoring their own neglect. They say, "I lost that deal, bad timing." No, you didn't follow up on time. They say, "I keep meeting the wrong people." No, you ignored red flags because solitude terrifies you. You call it misfortune, but most of your storms are self-made. Machiavelli compared fortune to a violent river. When calm, the wise build dikes and canals so floods do less damage. Boldness matters, yes, but preparation rules. The ruler who waits for the flood drowns. The one who builds in the sunshine survives. Life obeys the same law. You can't control who leaves you, but you can control whether their leaving collapses you. You can't stop layoffs, but you can control whether one paycheck defines your survival. You can't stop heartbreak, but you can control whether your identity was built on someone else's approval. So, build your dikes. Start with a risk audit. Write down the 5 crises that keep repeating: finances, sleep, diet, boundaries, schedule. Then build one wall for each this week. If your finances are chaos, automate your savings. If your sleep is fragile, cut screens 1 hour before bed. If your boundaries are weak, write 3 non-negotiables and enforce them. Small walls, big difference. Next, adopt a bold bias, 1 courageous act daily. Ask for the raise you've been avoiding. Refuse the invite that drains you. Publish the idea you've been hoarding. Pitch the client you fear will reject you. 1 bold move a day tilts the odds in your favor. Finally, run an after-action review. When chaos hits, don't complain, capture. If you missed a deadline, record what failed. Within 24 hours, build 1 safeguard. Block distractions, reorder priorities. Every mistake becomes a new defense. Because fortune isn't fair, but she's not blind either. She rewards the ruler who builds when others pray. Those who prepare shape the battlefield before battle begins. Those who construct order within control chance without. He who engineers his fortune commands his fate. He who rules his inner state bends the world to match it. This was never therapy. This was a transfer of power from the world's hands back into yours. Stop paying the validation tax. Treat solitude as strategy. Hold your line. Cut clean. Pick a side. Drill your state. Prepare for floods. That is how you stop begging to be chosen and start governing your own life. If you're ready to replace comfort with control, subscribe. Not for me, but for leverage. Mark this moment, the moment you chose clarity over chaos, truth over illusion, sovereignty over the soft chains of being wanted. Because the crown does not rest on the most adored head, it rests on the steadiest. Wear it, command with it, and never bow again.
Thanks for spending time with us. If this sparked a new way of thinking, hit like and subscribe to keep the ideas flowing. And don't forget, check the description for the links to the original books and resources we used today. We'll see you in the next one.